Childress Racing. Wow.
Well, that one's time for speed.
Time has marched on. This is going to be his 12th Daytona 500. I remember when they were driving him to high school.
You were all over it, Kevin. Look how much faster he is than the current leader, Herbst. It's going to be a whale of a lap, guys. Looking for a big turnaround this year. Obviously, Daytona 500 winner. This track's being
describe.
I just love all the cars. I will come back to everyone.
I can't wait to see it.
There's a thin line in the NASCAR Xfinity Series between winning and losing, between being the future and being past, between headlines and tailspins, between making history, being it, between the sweet taste of victory and the fumes of defeat. In the NASCAR Xfinity Series, there's a thin line between being a name they know and being a name they'll never forget.
Welcome back to Daytona 500 pole position qualifying on FS1. Lower right of your screen, Carson Hocevar had the fastest trap speed at the start-finish line after completing his warm-up lap, but he right now sits 9th. Austin Dillon fastest, second there as Jimmy Johnson gets ready to climb aboard.
Well, Hocevar did a great job. He just, his car's slow.
yes.
I don't
Exactly what I was going to say.
I don't know
Like
any other
old
way to
days,
explain it. I'm sorry to everybody, but
the old days you would overheat it,
Right.
right? You put too much tape on it to overheat it, and she's just slow.
yeah,
Oh, she's got.
he did a great job getting up to speed.
This is J.J. Yaley out of Phoenix, Arizona, multiple USAC champion in open wheel racing and in NASCAR Cup Series competition. 6 Daytona 500s under his belt with the best start of 12th, the best finish of 10th. This is the NY Racing Team's 100 Coconut Water Chevrolet.
And we heard Brad Keselowski talking about it. This is a lap. This is one of your 6.
Right, the best run at the Chili Bowl through the soup came from
12th for Yaley, 51.26. They'll need to find some speed. Here is Daniel Hemrick, and this is the Circle Chevrolet for Colleague Racing. Jamie?
Mike, check it out. It's the famous number 4 from Stuart Haas. Got his old team, Kevin Harvick. Look at, here's Cheddar, but look, I'm going to introduce you. New driver, Josh Berry. He is the rookie getting ready to qualify for his first ever Daytona 500. What's the day been like? This is such an awesome team that we've gotten to know with Kevin over the years, but what's the day just been like with them?
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. Obviously, just getting to know all this group over the off season has just been just a dream come true, really. This Rodney, Cheddar, all these guys have just been a pleasure to work with. So we're just ready to get going, really, at this point, right? We got a beautiful, bright orange, sunny D Ford. We're ready to go qualify for this Daytona 500 race tomorrow night.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Cheddar does have a name. It's something really difficult to pronounce, like Bob Smith.
Yeah, that Josh was getting in the car and getting to know.
Winner at Charlotte Motor Speedway has clocked in 6th fastest. Setting the stage for Noah Gregson in the Black Rifle Coffee Ranger Boat Sport. This will be Gregson's 3rd Daytona 500 with 3 different teams.
Well, I can tell you the 10 car at Stewart Haas Racing has typically done a really good job of qualifying and running well with Eric Almirola and everybody that was on that car last year. So I expect
Don't forget to
right with
subscribe
this
and turn on those post notifications because we'll be going live
So
the
the
next
Ghost Car
couple
now will
weeks,
compare to 10th because that
next
is the
couple
cutoff
days
to make it to
this
round
week
2.
because it's NASCAR and I race.
Good looking race car. And you're right. You know, you look over your shoulder, thinking back to the Daytona 500s every time you're down here, that 10 car was a factor with Eric Almirola. I think it's going to be a great year for Noah. Good opportunity, good home, good team. He can make the most of it.
Chief, so 3 Daytona 500s for Gregson with 3 different teams, 3 different crew chiefs. Nice run, 4th fastest, 49.97.
Right there with his teammate.
Yeah, and as a team owner, that's what you want to see.
Agree with one another.
True.
There's a lot of thought processes, and do we want to handle? Do I want speed? What do you want out of this thing? When everybody agrees, it sure makes those decisions a lot better.
3rd generation racer Corey LaJoie making his 8th Daytona 500. This will be his 5th with crew chief Ryan Sparks. This is the Chili's Ketcherita Chevrolet.
Say that 3 times fast, Mike.
Just order me another one.
That's right.
I was listening again to XM on the drive down here and listen to Corey talk about, you know, his season, his hopes, you know, and the process, that the path that he's been on with Spire Motorsports, by far the best situation he's ever been. Finally got some teammates on the hood as well. So
Well, they've run good, and they've had some chances to run up front and win races and hadn't quite capitalized on that. But I think Corey has learned from that and the things he needs to do a little bit differently.
He has 2 top 10 finishes in the Daytona 500. And LaJoie times in 10th for now. He's in that top 10. That will transfer to the next round. You're riding on board the Mahindra Tractors Ford with Chase Briscoe for Stewart Haas Racing. Let's go under the helmet with him.
I'm from Mitchell, Indiana. My favorite driver growing up was Tony Stewart. He was from Indiana. He raced sprint cars just like my dad raced sprint cars. I could watch him on TV on Sunday, but then also he would come and run local dirt tracks in Indiana. So I always thought that was just the coolest thing. My bedroom had Tony Stewart stuff everywhere growing up. The Brickyard 400 has been something I've always wanted to just race in, so I'll get to do that. So I'd say the Brickyard 400 at the top of the list.
Like you see Chase with the A-post bar and the window net, but look how rough that thing's riding,
exactly.
Clint.
Pretty rigid ride. That's how you get speed out of that thing.
Low is fast.
Briscoe breaks into the top 10 with a 4th place run, knocking out Corey LaJoie.
So you try to look over at the scoring pylon in the infield, see where he was at. That was cool.
Yeah. and he's doing his job right there. You heard him shut the car off and start the process of cooling the engine down the back straightaway. And there's quite the process of you hear him coasting. You hear him coasting right here. He's got the clutch in, he's got the gas pedal down, trying to cool the intake manifold to let as much air run through the radiator as possible, because there's no the car cool and get it as cool as possible for the second round if you make it.
Larry Mack, what is it about those Stewart-Haas Fords?
Yeah, what I'm seeing right now, and you talked about it, this is what an owner loves, a 96 and a 97 right now, third, fourth, and fifth.
Well, the car that just got passed on the apron is Kaz Gralla from outside Boston. That is the Front Row Motorsports entry. And the Rudebush Ford did not get up to speed. Now, Gralla is going to run for Rookie of the Year this year, trying to make his third Daytona 500. And this is an open car, which means
You can hear it running. Either got it back running down the cylinder or something there, Larry, but I definitely heard it running.
Yeah, that's once you leave pit road, that's the end of your run. You can't come back to pit road.
Which is exactly why you see Anthony Alfredo realizing, hey guys, I think we better than not. Having to go into the nerve-wracking situation, to say the least.
now no one is knocked out today, but the Beard family celebrating as Alfredo has locked in to the 500. Let's listen to the 36.
Never got a second gear. When I went to pull it, the shifter was just dead and loose, not attached to anything.
So not shifting at all for you right now.
The lever's completely disconnected.
Product and no practice.
It could go either way. It could have been something loose or
The emotions down here, Anthony Alfredo, you guys mentioned it. You just found out you locked yourself into the Daytona 500. Linda Beard, the owner, right here. What are these emotions like for you guys? Congratulations.
This is insane. I mean, hey, tomorrow and obviously Sunday, but to make it clearly a fast Chevrolet Camaro. I mean, we beat a lot of big teams so far. There's a lot of cars to go, but to know from some of the sketchy circumstances. And
congratulations, Anthony.
Thank you.
This is a family race team out of Michigan with one full-time employee, and they're in the 500.
Well, the Beard family, you know, they have a long history in the ARCA series and the things that they've done. But what is
absolutely
it's a big deal.
Here's second-generation racer Harrison Burton driving for one of Daytona's all-time winningest teams, the Wood Brothers. It's the Motorcraft Dex Imaging Ford.
We're certainly driving off from Haley in 10th right there, but there's a lot of cars to go.
Yeah, right now, Clint, that's you know, a little less than a half a second from first to 10th, and I think as we run here, obviously that will get tighter, but you know, you look at those Fords of the Stewart-Haas bunch up there. It sure looks like the Fords are going to be pretty fast again.
Ski and Burton just put that car in second place, 49.90.
49.903, P2 right now. I'll do all your cool.
David Reagan on the hot seat for making it into round two. David Reagan, yeah, David, and boy, they made Daytona Talladega, their playground for Front Row Motorsports. This is the Generator Ford. Dave.
One thing I notice about the 38 car of Todd Gill, and right now it's rough. Like it's riding rough, and a lot of that is just how much risk the team wants to take, and how with the shock adjustments that you have, and sometimes some spring choices to go with it. But you see that car bouncing around right there, and
just how that is. I mean, that is a rough
that I've seen
for sure, especially with the front end.
Third for Gilliland, and it puts Ford in 6 of the top 7 spots behind the Chevrolet of Austin Dillon. That will bump David Reagan out of the top 10 and set the stage for Austin Cindric, driving for Team Penske in the discount tire Ford, similar to the one he used to win the Daytona 500 2 years ago. This will be his 4th 500.
And these guys need to have a good year, Clint. But if you're going to put one win together,
I would like it to be this one.
You put the right one together.
Daytona 500, big ring, Kevin. Did you bring yours this weekend?
The ring?
Yeah.
No, you're right. I don't know where it is.
Come on, man. And you said it. I mean, looking for a huge turnaround for the season, but needs this race. Last, the Clash out in LA didn't go as planned for them, so has to feel good to get back in that hot rod and get out here doing what you're doing.
The one thing I can tell you about him, though, from his teammates, is they talk about his work ethic and how hard Austin works to be in that race car and do the things he needs to do. Great
Car
run.
Number 2, P2, half a tenth off of the fastest speed.
This next one right here, ladies and gentlemen, this is a big, big deal. It's the last of our open cars. It's 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson. And this launch, this getting up through the gears, this is so important. David Reagan and RFK, they're probably hoping for a gear shift malfunction, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, you heard a lot of wheel spin at the beginning of that. And right now, Jimmy's looking at his dash, just trying to hit all those RPM marks just as per.
And it's not.
So what's about to happen?
He has to be fast.
Yes, Toyota, new manufacturer for Legacy Motor Club, the former Petty team, for 2024. Jimmy Johnson has 2 Daytona 500 poles. And to lock in, he's got to beat David Reagan or have his fate determined. In tomorrow night's duel.
We heard David Reagan ask for it. Where's
time into the 500 on pole qualifying night as an open car?
No, I'm going to tell you both of these guys are plenty experienced enough to race their way in tomorrow night in those duels.
That's
however.
Excuse me, that's David's dad, Ken Reagan. He's raced here in the Daytona 500. Runs the Legends car program down in Atlanta for Speedway Motorsports. There it is. Reagan 50-20.
Down here with David Reagan as he celebrates. He's going to be in the Great American Race this weekend. Hey, listen, Brad Keselowski said earlier, you were a free agent deal, not just because you can get in, but you could win it. You're going to have a chance to get in.
To be in the Daytona 500, and the whole week I've just been trying to make sure we didn't make any mistakes, and I really felt like we were going to have a shot at a top 10 or top 12 starting spot, but just shows all the hard work. This is BuiltSubmarines.com. 4 team has done, and Derek Finley, he puts a lot of effort into the race team at RFK, and I've worked with him in the past, and he has been nervous and proud for the whole RFK guys, and appreciate Brad Keselowski and Jack Roush giving me an opportunity to come down here to try to win a Daytona 500.
Congrats, David.
Yeah, thank you.
Here's the Advent Health Toyota for Eric Jones for Legacy Motor Club. This will be Jones' 8th 500. His first.
Yeah, and once again, 11th quick for Eric Jones there. You see how rough the ride is, but you saw him come up off of turn 4 that you pointed out there, Clint, just how that car would just jerk around, and he would jerk the wheel a little bit just because of how rough the ride actually is on the race. You see when he slows down, it gets worse.
Allmendinger time into the Daytona 500. When we come back, 2023's top 20, Denny Hamlin. First up.
It's a Pinks All Out. Arm drops.
Let's race. Here we go.
He can do this all day. He never gets tired for a second. Ready, man.
Much has changed. The anticipation. The holding of breath until that first green flag drops. And the crazy journey begins all over again. If you could travel 75 years from now, you might not recognize much at all. But one thing will begins again.
Daily NASCAR show. Stories, the drama, and the excitement of NASCAR's biggest stars. It's going to be something. NASCAR Race Up on Fox Sports Racing all season long.
This is where Racer meets. Oh, you gotta be kidding me! This is the
NHRA all season long on Fox Sports Racing.
Welcome back to Daytona 500 pole qualifying. That's over at the Daytona dog track. Used to be outside turn 1. Now it's outside. It's halfway to the land.
It is a long way. It took us a while, Kevin, to figure out where it was.
Yeah, you knew exactly where it was, though.
Well,
all right, here we go. Let's see what the driver does here. They're making him come to a complete stop. Oh, boy.
Rigid as we run these cars, Kevin. You were talking about it. Spinning your tires too much right there, you can get yourself in trouble.
He spun them a lot on with one hand on the wheel at a time with the shift and trying to keep the air out of the car. And the teams and the drivers all have a plan when they come out. They want to execute, and that's what they decided they thought was best for speed, and he's executing. it. Denny's been so good on all the super speedway races, just a machine.
And 5 of the last 8 top 5.
You know,
when he could come same year. A lot of 3s up there. A couple of 1s on the Hamlin out of Chesterfield, Virginia.
And that is not easy to do right there with one hand on the wheel and holding everything up with your left hand up, trying to block that there. Like I say, I never did that because I wanted to be as smooth as possible with the wheel, but
same as A.J. Allmendinger, who sits 10th.
You think about all the Toyota teammates that have been in the Daytona 500, and to believe that he's the only Toyota guy to win the Daytona 500 is pretty hard to believe. A lot of good drivers in that camp.
16th. I would say this is not a surprise because in past years, Toyotas have not shown all their speed on qualifying day, but boy, when it comes race time, they're ready.
They seem to handle on that last
push and be pushed.
Is this weird, Kevin?
Well, I was mentally prepared for Josh Berry to drive the 4 car. I went through this whole transition with Josh and with Rodney and Stewart-Haas Racing to get Josh prepared and be a part of the moment. You go through so much as you go through this process. You saw him a little high in the corner right there. It looks like it's got pretty good speed.
Sonny D. Ford, that Kevin Harvick drove last year, the number 4 for Stewart-Haas Racing. Josh Berry out of Tennessee, running for Rookie of the Year. This will be his first 500.
You see all 3 of his teammates. Larry was all over at 95, 96, 97. Let's see where he ends up.
Losing a little time as he goes through the lap here. But I can't wait to see these guys get in rhythm and just start to race. I know so much about the team and have been with Josh as he's raced late models. Let's see, clocked in 12th.
Another 50-10. 33-year-old rookie. Out of Tennessee as we watch Chase Elliott climb aboard.
Going back to Josh Berry for just a second. I know when we would qualify we would always try to put a little more handling in our car so that we could do all those things that we were talking about. So that might be the speed difference between the other SHR cars.
Let's see what Brad Keselowski can do now, co-owner in Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. This is the Castrol Edge 4 for Brad. Let's go under the helmet.
Rochester Hills, Michigan. My favorite driver growing up was Kyle Petty. I think the hardest part about being a NASCAR Cup Series driver is balancing all the work commitments and still trying to not go insane. The race I haven't won that's on my list is the Daytona.
Has 2 top 5 finishes in the Great American Race.
Just like all, several other big name drivers. I mean, just this close every single year to getting the job done out here. Always a factor.
He's going to win this
You
year.
better keep an eye on this one.
I mean, maybe not the Daytona 500. I think he has a shot to do it. But I mean, he's going to win this year, don't you think?
Put it in the bank. Yes, this car, that number 6, will be in victory lane with Brad Keselowski standing on top of it.
14th for Keselowski. Speaking of Daytona 500 winners, here is Ricky Stenhouse, the defending champion of this race, who started on the pole here in 2020 for ATG Doherty Racing. This is the boost by Kroger Cottonelle Chevrolet.
Always such an aggressive behind.
He's a good super speedway racer because of that action shove, like you say. I think this team has done a great job in preparing the super speedway cars through the years for him to come out and do that, because of the fact that they know that he's going to go out and give everything that he has and take those risks.
Chody and Tad Geschecter started out with a Busch Series team, brought it to Cup, a single, sometimes a two-car team, picked up Brad Doherty, the NBA legend, as a co-owner, and won the Daytona 500 last year.
Daytona 500 champ last year, and Kroger's such a huge supporter of this team for so many years.
17th.
In Hartford, Ohio. My favorite driver growing up, besides my dad, I was a big Jimmy Johnson fan. I don't really treat myself a lot. I don't really want anything. I'm fine. I was like, well, if we win a championship, we'll get a pool. She's been harping on me for a pool for like a year and a half. I was like, all right, I'll make you do. We win the championship. This is like in June. We get a pool. Win the championship. And like one of the first things I said to her on stage, I'm like, well, I guess we're getting that pool after all. So
I was
Laney, that
it's not
have 16 in a row.
long time since they won the Daytona 500. Jimmy Johnson, these guys are hungry. Thinking back to this race a year ago, Kyle Larson was right there in the mix when the caution came out and would hand Stenhouse the win. Obviously, he was in the lead. He was right there for a big block, and it didn't work out for him.
Reddick from Corning, California. Second year with 23-11. Racing. It'll be his 6th Daytona 500. And he'll be in the Nasty Beast Toyota.
So there, right now, we've had about half of them qualify. Eric Jones in the 43 is fastest back at 15. Go back to last year. They had no Toyotas qualify inside the top 10, only one inside the top 18, and that was Bubba Wallace at 11th. They come here, set up the race, not necessarily. A Toyota has never sat on the pole for the Daytona 500 in their 17 500s.
So what he's saying is a lot has changed, but nothing's really changed.
Right.
Well, if they're making good handling, right, they got downforce, and with that comes drag. That's going to slow it down. When you're in a big pack like you are at the Daytona 500, a lot of that starts to go out the window. Probably not going to lead the best, but she's going to push and handle good.
It's a balance, and they should push better. When you look at the front of these Toyotas, they're much flatter.
Yeah, I like what you said, right? We talk about these body changes on the Ford, the Toyotas. For the last several years, the Fords have had the upper hand in this. When we come to these super speedway races, they can push better than the other two. These Toyotas, they came to play. They've changed their bodies. They've changed the way that they're going to be able to push, and I think that's going to be a pivotal role in this race come Sunday.
Well, they came to play, but did they come to qualify? Reddick 25th. Here's his teammate at Joe Gibbs Racing, Christopher Bell, in the DeWalt Interstate Batteries Toyota. This will be Bell's 5th Daytona 500. He has 2 top 5 starts in 4 years.
All right, Kevin, I've had enough. You see everybody time and again, you know, we follow each other, but everybody's holding their hand up in the window now. What are we doing?
Well, they're just trying to block the air from coming in the car to try to create a little bit less drag. So the aero guys will tell you that, you know, it's worth, I would tell you 1 count maybe or 2 counts, but usually it's so close that, you know, a couple of hundreds here and there will make a difference. But I was never capable enough of driving smooth. They tell me to put my hand up there. And I was like, there's no way I'm putting my hand up there. I got to have 2 hands on the wheel.
So you're basically just trying to fill that void in between the window net and the A-post, correct?
He needs longer arms.
That area has to be open so the driver could see his side view mirror, which is required. All right, hanging on to 10th is Chase Briscoe, as Christopher Bell is 22nd fastest. Next, 10 drivers to go. And the next driver on the clock will be Alex Bowman, who has an incredible run, a record run of top front row starts in the Daytona 500, and he is the race's defending pole winner.
Race Hub is your home for the only daily NASCAR show.
Everybody's overheated.
That'll make radioactive. Built by the experts for the die-hard fans.
Covering the stories, the drama,
and the excitement of NASCAR's biggest stars.
NASCAR Race Hub on Fox Sports Racing all season long.
It is a sport of momentary perfection.
The stage is set for another run toward glory.
Matt Hagan's the world champion. Wow. Look at that.
I love when a plan comes together.
An incredible drag race.
That was awesome.
The NHRA all season long on Fox Sports Racing.
Oh my God.
The dangerous drives.
These are the roads I'm most concerned about.
They will take you out to give an opportunity.
If you slide off it, you're dead.
If you're one of those guys that say you aren't scared, I think you're lying.
You get out of control, you're not coming home, except for the blood bag.
Dangerous drives.
Per 5-year plan, give the place a makeover.
I'll be king of the court.
Talk to an advisor about planning for your future with CIBC Goal Planner. Let's get started on your 5-year plan.
Hear that? Your other sides are calling. Where will they take you when you set them free? This is the new Nissan.
It's Leon's No Money Miracle event. Find incredible prices on furniture. Save up to 50% on select mattresses. Plus, other than the taxes and fees, don't pay until 2026 with 0% interest. Limited time only.
Life and death are the same. Both can have value and purpose.
War is coming.
Plan starting at just $7.99 a month.
Now, the lower right of the drivers who were fastest at the start-finish line, starting their timed lap. Now, among the drivers who had the fastest laps, William Byron is not on this list, nor is Harrison Burton. Todd Gilliland, meaning they still have some speed to gain coming up the speed lap?
Absolutely. They can get a better launch. Let's listen.
Oh, the rev limiter just a little bit, but just tickled it.
Assuming all of these Hendrick cars are the same and every driver has the same, and is it the way Alex Bowman launches?
Well,
if he makes it, I'm going to tell you yes.
I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna be the bearer of bad news here, Clint. But if he's just got to hit his points because he's in a fast race car, right? He's got to make sure that those shifts don't hit the rev limiter, don't spin the tires too much, do all those things. But he's obviously got teammates that are right up in the top 10, and I think he's going to be right up there with him too.
Debbie, he just tickled it. It was nothing. Okay, it's just a little tickle.
3 poles, 2 with or 1 with Blake Harris, his current crew chief, and 2 with Greg Ives.
I think. Oh, here it hit the ground.
Pretty good too.
Yes. Yeah, you notice that he had his hand up at the window, and as soon as it hit the ground, he was like, "Oh my God, I got to keep my hands on the wheel."
Well, when it hit that hard, what happens? It can bounce right out from underneath of you. Get yourself in trouble.
I'd say it's going to hit again down here.
Well, he's got work to do to lock in, to make 10th and make it to the second round, where the pole will be determined. It's about 0.3 of a second, first to 10th.
Here it hit. There's a bump right in the middle of 3 and 4. But the car will just have one quick spike.
Oh, this is going to be close.
I don't think he's going to do it.
I don't think he is either.
Alex Bowman, 12th fastest, 49.99.
So the things that I would critique right there, if I was going back and watching this to be productive as the team, I would say, okay, the car hit the ground a little bit too hard. Driver hit the rev limiter just a little bit taken off. Just a few little things as you go through the sequence.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what his speed was. You know, when we show those speeds at the coming to green lap, what his was. I think it'll be a good tell-all sign.
Ty Gibbs, 21 years old now, driving for his grandfather's team in his second Daytona 500. Last year he started 33rd, finished 25th, but he won Rookie of the Year last season.
He is poised for a big year. I think he's ready. He's in the right car, and I think that it's going to happen, Kevin.
I just love the kid's work ethic. I think he's aggressive. He's intense, all the things that you want in a fiery, and he's young. And I think he did a phenomenal job last year finishing races and doing all the things that he's done. And I think you're right. I think he's going to win this year.
And he matured so much in the last season. He came out of winning the Xfinity Championship in 22, cocky young kid, ready to go for it, do anything. Then he came to the Cup Series, but he has really, really done well.
So close to winning that Clash 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So close.
And I think you got to be a little bit cocky to be like, you have to be a little bit arrogant at this to be super successful.
Did you just admit something?
I never said I wasn't confident. I was very confident.
You didn't say confident.
Ty Gibbs, 21st.
Cocky. I mean, yeah.
Second fastest Toyota.
Hey,
Kyle would like to get off this list. Out in a Daytona 500 win. In this race, 6 of them.
So close last year.
So this is his 20th Daytona 500. And that counts the year that he qualified for the 500, but crashed hard in the Saturday race, went to the hospital, didn't get to run for the next several weeks, in fact.
Don't forget, he's in the lead. Green, white checker didn't go the best.
He's finished second in the 500. He's started fourth here 4 times.
Working for Richard Childress, and you know this, Clint, coming to the Daytona 500, you better have your stuff together in the engine shop, in the race shop, because he's like Rick Hendrick. When he comes down here, he expects to have a chance at the pole, and he wants to win the race.
The zone top 10 and move Ryan Priest to the bubble. Chase Elliott. The Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet for Rick Hendrick. This will be his that incomplete season last year with the big goose egg in the win column. Not that many laps left. Still decent average finish, but not the season he would have wanted.
You're not going to see that again, boys.
Yeah, I
He
agree.
is ready to go. Call it redemption car, whatever. I'm going to tell you, this 9 car is back.
And you know what I like? I love the way that he has talked. He seems comfortable, relaxed. He looks like he's in good shape. You know, from everything that he's done, he seems happy, and I think that he just never got into that last. I think after he wins the first race, I think we should drive down to Georgia.
I want to honk the horn.
I think they let us ring that siren down there.
Well, you can do that. I'll drink a beer. How about that?
We'll do both.
All right, Elliott is 5th. That makes 5 Chevys in the top 10 and 5 Fords for Ross Chastain, Florida Melon Man, and the Busch Light Chevrolet for Chikaus Racing. 5 Daytona 500s for Chastain, a best start of 19th, the best finish of 7th.
One of the best activation sponsors there is, hands down. Glad it landed at this driver with this camp. It'll only make a guy like Ross Chastain more popular, which he needs to be. He does things on the racetrack nobody else can do, puts people on their feet in the stands. I like Ross Chastain and what he does, and I'm glad he has that partnership inside of him.
And he's got a fast car, and as you say, with Busch Light on the side of that car and everything that they've done with me for the past several years, and they've been a part of NASCAR racing for a very long time, and right now they're on board a fast number 1.
What's hard to believe is last year he had only 1 top 10 finish at or Talladega. 9th in the 500 last year. Chastain is to the 2nd round. Chris Buescher in the Fastenal Ford for Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing had 3 wins last year. They all came in the last 15 races of the season finale here at Daytona.
Chris Buescher is a hidden gem. I love the way he races. He's always there at the end of the races. He's good at figuring out his car when it's not good, and can figure out how to communicate and tell his team what he needs. And that's what it takes to be a great driver. You have to be able to talk to your team and tell them what you need, and be able to not make those mistakes. And I think Chris Buescher does that.
It's identical to the way a conversation or interview goes with him. It just gets the job done, checks all the boxes, but it's kind of quiet.
Yes, and that's okay. And I think with Brad coming over and doing everything that he's done at RFK, it's really allowed Chris to shine and do the things that he did last year.
The chrome numbers shining on the racetrack.
One of only 2 drivers to finish in the top 5 in both Daytona races last year. Buscher 14th fastest. And right now, the top 10 that move on include 6 Chevys and 4 Fords.
Larry, I like what you pointed out here. These Toyotas, they are definitely slow on the speed chart.
Yeah, honestly, they're slower than I anticipated. I didn't think they would be a contender for the front row, but definitely slower than I anticipated.
But always there when handling's on the line, and 15, 20 laps in of these runs, here they come.
Look at the goose eggs in the playoff column for Martin Truex last year. Regular season champion, disappointing playoffs for the 43-year-old from Mayetta, New Jersey, driving for Joe Gibbs Racing in the Bass Pro Shops Toyota. Pole winner here for Chip Ganassi in 2009, and runner-up for Furniture Row Racing in 2016 in the 500-mile race.
The only thing that concerns me about the lack of speed, Clint, is especially on Thursday night for the qualifying races when it's cool and dark and grip levels are up, is going to be that speed. Like you're going to have to be able to. The Fords and Chevrolets are not going to take a lot of speed out of their car. You're going to have to race this car, obviously, and I think that the Fords know what to race for the most part with what they've done in the past. So I know their body's different and could have some different handling characteristics, but they've been pretty stout. So the speed is going to matter.
Martin Truex 24th. Michael McDowell, winner of the Daytona 500 just a couple of years ago in the Love's RV stops Ford. Started 6th here 2 years ago. Got the victory 3 years ago. Big crash on the last lap that time.
So did you pull into a Love's the other night to sleep in your motorhome? Is that,
buddy? I always stop at Love's.
Okay.
I love, and this is why I called my first Daytona 500. Michael McDowell won the race. I was on my way home, pulled in Love's like I always do. Looked over there, Daytona 500 champion Michael McDowell all over it. I'm like, that is activation. That's the way it's supposed to be. Always a Love's.
But you didn't answer my question.
And they gave me a card with
so it
free
gave
coffee
you
or something.
I got you.
What, nothing about it being Valentine's Day and there's hearts all over the car?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Love's is good. To cut it.
McDowell just did. He just timed it 6th fastest. Knocked out Todd Gilliland. So he will be in the top 10 in round 2.
Good super speedway racer right there, Michael McDowell.
Daniel Suarez from Monterrey, Mexico for Team Trackhouse.
If the cars are prepared.
7 100s. of a second separate.
Quite a bit of somewhere down there. What happened? Got tight, maybe? I don't know, but it did definitely lost a half a car length.
So cool to just listen to those motors hum. See drivers doing their things.
Lock Ross Chastain in, so now there's just one spot left to be decided. And it will be either Harrison Burton, who's completed his run, or the next driver on track, Bubba Wallace. Well, deja vu all over again. Last year, it was Harrison Burton versus Bubba Wallace for the final spot in the second round. 3 inches, Clint said, was the difference. Here we are, Harrison Burton's 10th. Here's Bubba Wallace in the McDonald's Toyota. Best start here of 6th and best finish of 2nd twice.
Another guy I heard interviewed today, Kevin, you talked about confidence. He was calm, he was collected, he's very confident coming into the Daytona. Found him out for this great American race.
He had a breakout year last year, and I love the fact that he's more confident in the things that he can do, because he's here for a reason. Believe in the things that you've done to get to this particular point, and he's proven that by getting better every year.
And a good hot rod too. And it's over. Harrison Burton once again scores the 10th spot in the first round and will transfer with 9 other drivers to run for the pole for the Daytona 500.
I'm really stoked for this new season of Car Warriors because everything's changed. Every week, every competition, new crews. So it's not the same old guys at a time and one new crew.
Woo! Way to be, guys.
I got 2 lead techs this year. Guys that are knowledgeable, know what they're doing.
Nitrous needs to be saved for last. When you're talking 4 to 5 horsepower, that could be the difference between winning and losing at the drag strip.
This year,
Both can have value and purpose.
War is coming.
Plan starting at just $7.99 a month.
Tomorrow, the greatest week in racing continues with the duel at Daytona. America's best battle to set the field for the Daytona 500, 7 Eastern on FS1. Josh Sims.
Down here, William Byron, on what's going to take for you to go out there and do it again?
Honestly, I feel like our Exalta Chevy was really fast there. It's really tight between the top, top 8. Really, so it looks like there's room to improve for me. You know, I felt like out there, I felt like my line could be a little bit better, and I felt like I just wasn't super keen with my launch. So we put all in the front row. It'd be nice to sleep easy tonight and be able to go into tomorrow's duel and not. We'll see. Car looks beautiful, so always have great paint schemes with Exalta. So excited for the week here and ready to get the season going.
William Byron looking to keep the front row streak going for Hendrick Motorsports, Jamie.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but Jimmy Johnson must race his way into the Daytona 500 tomorrow night. Jimmy, what was going on during that run?
It's so hard to tell. I know that last year in qualifying, this new package, the car turns a lot less RPM, and it was very difficult for me to know if it was going to lap or not. And I had that confusion again this year, but sadly, it wasn't fast enough to get us in. We've worked really hard over the offseason, and this isn't what we had hoped for coming down here. Eric ran a respectable lap, so I think it's in there. It's just, just a lot of new elements coming together, and we'll work hard to race our way in tomorrow. It's not a position I wanted to be in, but it is what it is, and we'll do all that we can with this Toyota Camry.
All right, we'll see you in the duels tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. Well, let's look at who has advanced to the final round. There are 6 Camaros and 4 Mustangs to battle for the Daytona 500 front row next. Now, the open teams, those 6 teams, we know that Anthony Alfredo and David Reagan are locked in on time. If either one of them races into the 500 race in on tomorrow night. However, J.J. Yaley and Kaz Grala have only one option to make the 500, and that's to race their way in tomorrow.
Face down fear behind the wheel.
You slide, I think you're lying. You get out of control.
Here and now is when it matters most.
Heavy damage.
Not last month or last week or 48 laps ago when that bumper fell off. Here is where it must be left on the track. The anger, the hunger, the passion, and the drive to do whatever it takes to make it across that finish line first.
Blow those rear tires off. That's fine.
Now is when the future is written in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Weeknights Sub is your home for the only
Flag on Sunday. We'll be there for you on Monday and every day after.
He went down there looking for a fight.
Everybody's overheated.
Hear the action
That'll make radioactive.
from the drivers themselves.
I am very entertained as we cover the stories, the drama, and the excitement of NASCAR's biggest stars.
It's going to be something. NASCAR Race Up on Fox Sports Racing all season long.
There's some pain can't describe.
With Hendrick Pop. Power plant 3 with the ECR engines and 4 with Roush Yates Ford engines. Who will win the pole?
This is where racer meets machine. What an unbelievable drag race. These warriors ride on the edge.
journey begins. All over again. If you could travel 75 years.
Right there, and we talk so much about these launches. This is my old dash right here. We're going on board with Alex Bowman, and you hear the RPMs and the shifts and the shift lights that are going through the gears right here with my dash. But we talked about Alex Bowman hitting that chip. I believe it was his third gear shift. But the driver's responsibility is to get as much and as close to the RPM that you need to shift at to get as much power and momentum going as he goes through the gears. So the driver does have some responsibilities in everything that he does with his hands and the steering wheel and putting the car close to the line and getting through those gears and not spinning the tires too much.
That Mustang has an all-new body for NASCAR for 2024. It's the Mustang Dark Horse. And they hope for improved aerodynamics. Let's see how this sorts out for Harrison Burton, who has led laps in both of the Wood brothers.
I like how Harrison get as much momentum with the car as possible. And right at the start-finish line, you want those left side tires against the yellow line. We saw a lot of guys not do that in qualifying. They were kind of in the middle of the track.
Like what you said about the new Dark Horse body. All right, we're Ford. We want a new body. We need to improve. Where do we need to improve? Whatever you do, do not mess up the super speedways. We're really fast there. We obviously got Phoenix down. We won the last 2 championships. But maybe on a mile and a half, give me a little bit of downforce, a little bit of drag.
And it looks from the speeds like they still have good speeds. And let's not forget about the engine under that hood. Roush Yates, Doug Yates, they love super speedway racing and put a ton of effort into it.
Now Burton got up off the bottom exiting turn number 4. Couldn't hold it right at the yellow line, and he is at 49.90.
Well, and one of the things we're going to talk about is who picks up speed and who doesn't. Harrison did not pick, but it was almost identical.
Yeah, dropped 6/1000.
Yeah.
Dane finished top 10 in 3 of his 5 Daytona 500s. 9th last year.
Best not anything getting your engine go out and refire again. It should go faster with everything warmed up in the engine and transmission.
I think the Ghost Tracker has proven that point too, Kevin.
Look how smooth his ride is noticeably smoother than most of the other cars that have been running really fast. His head is not moving around a lot at all.
Ross Chastain, 49.75. So that is a drop off of 18/100ths from his first round. Kyle Busch.
Game.
I'm sorry, game. Kyle Busch, 18 Daytona 500s. The best finish of second.
So close last year.
here.
With these cars coming down here and having 3 of the top 10 is pretty good.
Yeah. You talk about Doug Yates and everybody at Roush Yates Horsepower. Don't you think that those ECR boards ain't capable of building some steam under the hood? Always a lot of emphasis. That car got loose right there off the floor. A lot of emphasis on their performance at this race track in particular.
49.72. That is a 1/10 of a second faster.
Good
that he
pickup.
ran around 1. In Sunday's Daytona 500, everyone else will have to go through the dual races tomorrow night to learn where they will start in the Great American Race. Ford started 5th and led 21 laps.
Side tires right down on that yellow.
Picking up. Why are they picking up? Why are they
in the transactions when you won?
Top 49.
All right, top of the board.
Rock.
Biggest pickup so far.
Tonight's the night. Michael McDowell, Daytona 500 winner, noted as a super speedway racer and road course racer. That's where he started his career, and he is right on top of Austin Cindric here for the fastest lap of the night. Now, in this second round, the 10 cars run from slowest to fastest in round 1. So you would expect the speeds to get higher and the times to come down as we go through these 10 drivers all the way to the end.
Man, they put some of that trucker coffee in that Loves, huh? Look at this. Car's got some speed.
Well, and everybody learned from the first round. The tires have a little bit of heat, so that launch should be faster. The oils are better. The drivers are more comfortable doing everything that they need to do to get the car a little bit closer to the yellow line in the corners.
And McDowell is fastest, 49.53.
53, brother. Top of the board. Hope it holds.
Wow, that's a 1/10 and a half to go.
No, that's a quarter of a
Shot
second.
fired is what that is,
Wow.
boys. Larry, that's fast.
Yeah. My math is bad, Mike.
They keep getting faster. Chase Elliott, he ran a 78, a 49.78, which right now would be just good enough for 5th. So as we go through these last 5, everybody's got to get quicker.
Well, and we're officially rooting for Chase Elliott, are we not? The Dawsonville pool room invited us to come on down when Chase wins. So I guess we're tied into doing that.
It was awesome. I loved it. They answered us. I looked down on a break and we got invited. I got informed that it wasn't a horn, which I already knew, but I thought it was just kind of fun.
Clint here's free beer and he's in.
Yeah, I'm going for the beer, but they said something about a jar.
Already, the fastest lap is faster than anybody went in round 1.
Man, this McDowell's car was extremely fast. You saw right there on the ticker.
Elliott third, 49.67. Now, he does pick up a 1/10 from round 1, but not
Good
enough
lap
for the front row.
Yeah, good lap for the 9 car, but not good enough.
Here's his teammate, William Byron, for Hendrick Motorsports.
And we heard William Byron talk about how he thought he could do his launch a little bit better and do a few things on his end a little bit better. Right there with Michael McDowell. Larry?
Yeah, these drivers, these teams, they have access to the same data that I'm looking at. And when I look at the fastest 4 from round 1, which was Joey Logano, who was fastest, Kyle Larson, who was 2nd, and William Byron's 4th. The one thing that was different for Logano versus Byron and Larson, Logano got to high gear quicker.
Yeah, and that high gear shift is going to come anywhere probably between, at least for the Fords, 78 to 8,200 by the time you shift to 4th gear.
Well, Michael McDowell has started 466 career NASCAR Cup races, never from the pole.
Wow.
Never say never.
Maybe tonight. There's Michael, 49.53. Fastest so far now with 3 cars to go. Byron 49.676. He was 1,000th of a second slower than Chase Elliott, his teammate. Austin Dillon, a former pole sitter for the 500.
500 winner is round. He was 3/100ths quicker than Byron. That's it right there. You see it. He got into 1 and 2, and McDowell pulls away from them more so in the corner than anywhere. Same thing was over Byron the last lap.
That tells me they've got that car trimmed out. It's not losing as much RPM in the corners, which means it's less downforce.
And probably not bottoming out like we saw Bowman's car do earlier, Kevin.
Well, there's just so much that goes into it. We look at qualifying and everybody says, oh, it just looks like one car going around the racetrack. There are so many things that can go wrong. And you see that car get loose again, just like Kyle Busch's car did off of turn 4.
Dillon, 5th, and that will be a disappointment. 49.70 for Austin Dillon. I know they hoped for more. They picked up half a tenth. Kyle Larson, another former pole sitter for the 500. In round 1, he was 9/100ths behind Joey Logano. See how much of that he can make up here and see if he can get Rick Hendrick another Daytona 500 pole.
Looky here.
Green light, bottom right of your screen.
Now this is where they're starting to fall, right there in the corner. Just like I just said. Can he get it back on the straightaway? Hendrick's last hope. 8 out of the last 9 out of this Hendrick camp. Wow, that's close, Kevin.
Yeah, it's just that one section there going into turn 1 that you're talking about, Clint, that they gain a little bit. But here comes the 5, a little bit off of turn 4.
Lost a little there.
Less than 100th of a second.
So close.
And to the line.
Whoa, a green.
Second for Larson. 49.
Wow.
14/1000ths of a second.
We'll put McDowell on the front row.
It'll be McDowell. It'll be McDowell and Larson right now with Joey Logano to go. Now Logano 9/100ths quicker in round 1. Both Michael McDowell and Logano's car owner Roger Penske looking for their first Daytona 500 pole.
Uh-oh.
Man, look at that thing. Heard it just barely touch the ground right there. Didn't slow it down, though.
Green down here. Starting to pull away a little bit. He's coming back, he says.
Here comes Logano to settle the front row for Sunday's Daytona 500.
He's going to do it.
It's an all-Ford front row. Joey Logano and Michael McDowell. 49.465.
Wow.
18/100ths of a second was the pickup for Logano round 1 to round 2.
49.46, Larry.
Good job, guys.
That's speed right there.
That is ripping.
What I love is
one of those for us. Thank you. Nice job. Nice job.
29th career pole for Logano. His last one came almost a year ago. It was Atlanta last March that he sat on the pole for a cup race.
I love the emotion. It really shows you how much goes into the Daytona 500 pole.
There is your Daytona 500 this word.
I'm really stoked for this new season of Car Warriors because everything's changed. Every week, every competition, new.
I will be streaming tomorrow. I will be streaming tomorrow for the duels at Daytona. We will be back tomorrow at the duels. I will be streaming tomorrow. I will be streaming tomorrow. Your poll sitter is Joey Logano for the 500, and beside him will be Michael McDowell. That will be your front row. We will figure out the rest of the field tomorrow. It is not over yet. Join us live tomorrow at 7 p.m. for the Blue Emu duels at Daytona. Click that subscribe button so you can keep up on our lives. We will be live for NASCAR tomorrow, live for NASCAR on Friday, and we are live the next 4 days for NASCAR.
By Team Penske for Porsche. And here, the Daytona 500 pole is won by Joey Logano for Team Penske. Here's Jamie.
And Joey Logano
is your front row winner for
the Daytona 500. What does this mean to you, to your crew chief Paul Wolf, and this organization with this new model, by the way?
Yeah, this is all about the team. Honestly, and I'd like to take credit, but I can't today. The guys have done such an amazing job working on these cars, and the super speedway qualifying is 100% the car. There's only so much a driver can do. So I'm really proud of them. That's a big win for our team, for everyone at Team Penske. Ford with a new Dark Horse Mustang, being able to come down here and put it on the pin. And finally, someone else wins the pole.
We will see you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Before, so it's my first pole on a speedway.
Right back here on my YouTube channel for
proud of the
7
team.
p.m.
Can't thank everybody enough. Shell, Pennzoil, Hunt Brothers Pizza, AAA, everybody at the
Standard Eastern Time. That's 7
this number 22 car. Huge deal for Team Penske.
Click that subscribe button so you can keep up to date.
Team Penske is on. Here is the starting lineup for Duel 1. Now, most of these cars
So
are locked
there's
in.
your starting lineup for Duel number 1. That is Logano, Larson, Chase Elliott, Austin Dillon, Ross
There are
Chastain.
drivers that have to race in.
Okay, starting lineup for Duel number 1. In row 7, we got the 48. In row, Daniel Hemrick.
They are too, but they'll handle. You watch. They're going to handle and drive right up through them.
Martin Truex,
So much fun to watch.
Ty Gibbs.
Pressure that's on. A lot of learning. No practice yet. These guys got to get in these duels.
In duel number 2. In row 1, we got Michael McDowell and Austin Cindric. William Byron and Kyle Busch.
Them to green in race 2.
Harrison Burton and Harrison Burton. Riley Herbst, Chase Briscoe, Noah Gragson of
Look at Eddie Hamlin way back in 18th there. So tomorrow in FS1, Truck Series practice at 5, race day at
Okay,
6.
so it's practice tomorrow.
At 7. Sunday on FS1, NASCAR race day 11 a.m. Race day continues.
Tomorrow we got Truck Series practice, race day.
Daytona 500 winner Joey Logano and outside pole sitter Michael McDowell. Now to Fox College Hoops.
That brings it to the end. Let's press the subscribe button because I'm going to end the stream here.
Face down fear behind the wheel. Dangerous trucks.
These are the roads I'm most concerned about.